So I'm just going to make a new survival world and start from scratch. There's also been a couple new updates since I stopped playing, so exploring all of the new structures and features should be pretty fun. So I found this world that I really like, and it's an amplified world, but I didn't want the whole world to be amplified, so I did some editing to the files and only made a bunch of the chunks near spawn amplified. So the rest of the world is completely normal, which I think can make for some really interesting builds. But there's still a couple things I haven't done in the game yet. And in this world, my goal is to collect every mob there is in Minecraft, as well as trying to get every single achievement / advancement there is, and maybe even try and attempt to one up my mega modern mansion build. And for a bit more of a challenge, I'm going to lock the world to hard, and then to make sure that it's absolutely impossible for me to go into creative mode, we're going to go into spectator mode. This is the spawn chunk. The spawn chunk is always active, and we're going to go way down to the bottom, drink a little night vision potion, and put a couple command blocks here. Game mode survival at A, always active. Okay, so I've been messing around with these command blocks. This one keeps me out of spectator mode, and then this one keeps me out of creative mode. So now if I just put that at A, I should... Okay, there we go. Okay, now if I try and go into creative, it won't let me. Now let's try and go into spectator, and it won't let me. Because it's set in the spawn chunk is always active, no matter where I am in the world. So, no matter where I go, no matter how far I am, I will not be able to cheat. And to be honest with you, I don't actually know how to turn those things off because they're literally beneath the bedrock. No cheating, let's get on with the world. So I started off the world by finding a buried treasure, which was very helpful, and I thought it'd be a lot more enjoyable to be playing Minecraft with a friend, so I convinced my friend Connor to join the server. We started off by building a nice cozy house together just across the ocean from the spawn.
Oh shit!
Yo-ho-ho! Alright, well, maybe we can make this opportunity to make the house a little bit bigger. Then once we had gathered a fair amount of food for each other, we set off down a cave filled with water to go mining for some supplies. Ended up finding some lava so that we can go into the nether, because instead of building farms and building houses first, we wanted to start off the world a little bit different by beating the game and getting an elytra as soon as possible. Found my first diamonds, which is always a good feeling. And seeing as I could make a diamond pickaxe now, we decided to take the nether portal up to the surface to the house just to make it easier to get into the nether. Being on hard difficulty, we were running out of food really quickly, so we decided to make a little farm outside of our base. With our food situation under control, we thought it's about time to go into the nether, to find a bastion, to trade with the piglins for pearls. I died to a ghast while bridging across a pit of lava. It took a long time, but I eventually found the bastion over 700 blocks away from our spawn.
Cannot see anything. Oh, the square. How did you see that?
So we made stairs to the top of the bastion, making sure to look out for piglin brutes, which are extremely annoying in this version of the game.
So, are we fucked if we die right now? I don't really have that
Pretty
much.
much, but we just gotta take it, nice and slow. So once we reached the top of the bastion, we ended up killing off most of the piglin brutes with a lava bucket, which is a good way to kill off the piglin brutes without making the normal piglins mad. Unfortunately, there was one more piglin brute which we missed, which killed me. I eventually made my way back so that we can mine the gold and start trading with the piglins. We didn't get much with the nerf pearl drop rate, so we headed into the bigger part of the bastion to get some more gold to trade with. Hey guys, hey, how's it going? What's going on, guys? Get burned. Unfortunately, even going as slow and as careful as we could, Connor still ended up dying to a piglin brute. Is he, come on, surely you... Hang on, wait.
Oh yeah, I know, he's almost up here. Oh no. Oh no. He's strong, man.
But once he got back, we finally got into the middle and made a safe little box over all of these gold blocks to protect us. Once we got all of the loot, we brought all of the gold up to our piglin hole to try and trade and get some more pearls. We only ended up getting 9 pearls from the piglins, but we also got some nice loot like a notch apple and some netherite, which made the trip worth it. The next day I logged in, I found that the floor to our house was made of cake. Then we set off in the nether to find a fortress. After a bit of searching, Connor found a fortress. After getting a couple rods without fire resistance potions, I decided it'd be a better idea to go to another bastion just to get the rest of our pearls and for fire resistance potions to make it a lot easier to get the blaze rods. Luckily there was a bridge bastion only about 100 blocks away from the fortress, so we killed a piglin brute and headed towards one of the chests, which had some nice loot in it. Then we decided to go over to the other side of the bastion to loot the chests over there. Unfortunately, while I was killing the piglin brutes, Connor got a bit bored and he accidentally let the piglin brutes in. And yeah, we both ended up dying here. So we crafted up some tools and started making our way back to the bastion. This time successfully killing the piglin brute and looting the chests on this side of the bastion for some more awesome loot. Then I got to work mining all of these gold blocks over here, making sure that there's no piglins around that are going to jump on top of me, which I have had happen before. Then we just traded a bunch of gold to the piglins. Connor ended up getting more pearls and I got a couple fire resistance potions, which was awesome. Connor somehow knocked me off of the pathway here on the way back to the fortress, but I used my fire resistance potion and ended up surviving. Back at the fortress, we were able to get the blaze rods a lot easier with our fire resistance. The next day, back in the overworld, I crafted our Eyes of Ender. Then using the Ninja Brain bot, I just calculated exactly where the stronghold was. Luckily, Connor had made a sheep farm, so getting enough beds to kill the Ender Dragon was not a problem. Also decided to craft some rockets so that when we get to an end city, we can use our elytra. Then with my absolute awful XYZ navigation, I calculated that the portal is going to be over this lava lake over here. Then after a bit of bridging, we made the portal so that we can finally enter the stronghold. Entered the stronghold, found the portal room, and into the end dimension we went. Realizing that I had forgotten obsidian to do the one cycle, Connor kindly sacrificed himself to jump into the void to go back to spawn and get some for me. Once he got back, I'm not too sure what happened. I don't know if Connor looked at the Enderman or if the Enderman was angry at the dragon, but the Enderman was in the way and it messed up the one cycle. The second attempt went a lot smoother. I killed the dragon and then into the end teleporter thingy I went. We killed some more Endermen just to get some extra Ender Pearls. Trying hard not to overthink it and let my finger off the crouch key while bridging over the void. Connor actually had the balls to do this pearl throw, which he actually made to my surprise. So I gave it a shot too, even though it was really scary, but I did a run and jump. Once we got to our first end city, I was not prepared for how many shulker boxes were in this room, and probably just should have bridged up the side of the building to be honest. But yeah, I ended up dying here. I ended up letting Connor tackle this end city by himself and went off in a different direction to find a end city of my own. Finally, after bridging about 400 blocks over the void, I spotted another end city. But I ran out of blocks, so I put all of my stuff in a chest, yeeted myself into the void, and made my way back with some more blocks. I tried to line myself up perfectly with the underside of the ship part of the city, so I could just mine my way inside without having to deal with any shulker boxes. There was a couple on this part of the ship that I killed, and then finally I was able to get my elytra. Surprisingly, Connor was able to survive that whole end city on his own and got his elytra. And because he had the rockets, I just waited on top of my ship until he came, so I can use my elytra and loot the rest of the city. But because I suck and don't know how to loot end cities, I had to look up my own video, which I made a couple years ago, on which buildings actually contain loot. So yeah, after watching that, I just looted the rest of the city. And actually the chests next to the elytra ended up giving us an absolute god diamond sword with looting, mending and unbreaking on it. So yeah, we headed back to our home base with our elytra and all of the loot that we gathered with only 8 hours of playtime. Then we just spent the rest of the day building our own house. We needed to get mending on our elytras ASAP, so we kidnapped some villagers and started taking them to our base. Then we made a little temporary house for them. This villager for some reason wanted to get in the boat with his buddy instead of going to the beds that we placed down. This resulted in them witnessing a creeper explode 2 inches away from their face. After defending off an absolute horde of zombies, we got to work on making the villagers a new home. Then once we got them into the new home and breeded a couple, we did the good old trick of placing down lecterns until we finally got mending. Once we had enchantments and mending, we needed a good source of gunpowder, so we got to work on making a mob farm. We decided to make it over at the spawn area because we were eventually going to move the library and all of our bases over to where the amplified terrain is, because with our elytras now it'll be fun to fly around these mountains. Cause yeah, I think it would be fun to build a base on one of these massive mountains. It took a while, but I ended up making the walls of the mob spawner while Connor made the platforms and did all the redstone stuff. So after staying up till 3 AM, we finally had a functioning mob spawner so that we can get gunpowder for our rockets. The next day we made a lot of progress on making the mob spawner room look a lot better. So basically in the center of the spawn is this huge giant mountain, and our goal is to set up all of the automated farms and the villager trading area there along with the library. So first I got to work on making our first automatic carrot farm in probably one of the most difficult locations, but I think it will look really cool when it is done. And then we can use a water elevator to transport all of the carrots to the top part of the mountain where all of the village trader buildings will be. While flying around and trying to get the dimensions and the scale of the farm perfect, my elytra ended up running out of durability. And this is what I mean about building on an amplified world. It's going to be a bit of a challenge, but that's what makes it fun. My speedrunning experience kicked in and I just simply made a boat. And this probably has to be one of the most satisfying moments I have had while using this trick. But yeah, I ended up getting all of my stuff back, and there's so many little things that I've learned with speedrunning that have helped me in this survival world so far. Like little things like turning hitboxes for items on so that I don't miss anything that I dropped. Anyways, I pretty much finished building this carrot farm while Connor was busy building a villager breeder. Connor ended up getting all of the villagers in place on all of the levels while I was working on the final touches. Eventually we filled up all of the levels with carrots and potatoes, and then finished off some final touches to make it look good from the outside. And that's part 1 of the survival world. See ya.